Well guys, welcome to part 13 of the office project here. Of course, in the last video you've seen us, glue down the desktop material as well as start on what I called the backsplash and all that. I've been working on some of the trim here, as you can see here. I've got the trim on the bottom as well as trim on the top. I'm starting out, of course, with the big pieces, and working my way to the smaller ones, as well as, I gotta put some of this trim here into here, up top and then that little one at the bottom. Pretty much all the way around, I gotta do that. And then, of course, all the way underneath here, I'm gonna put some of this fancy trim here. It's got a bit of a profile, if you see by the camera here. Not 100% sure how much of that I'm going to use, because it is like $2.50 a foot, so it's a little bit pricey, but it does make a nice job. But yeah guys, just measuring here, doing some cutting, and of course my handy dandy nailer, getting her all nailed up. So guys, let's get at her and see how far we get on part 13. Well guys, a little bit of a check-in for you here. Got this piece up here, and of course this whole back piece, long piece here, is like about 10-11 feet, so I'm gonna have to get creative on how to get that one up there by myself anyway. But I got this corner piece in here, and this piece in here. Of course, this is my first 45 on this project, so it's okay. What I've done here is I've cut a 22.5 inch angle for this leading edge, just to give it a bit of a reveal rather than it being like flush, looking this way, right? I don't know, we'll see how that goes. And of course the two 45s there where both pieces meet. And then of course another 22.5 on this end here. And right now I'm working on the little L trim up there, getting whatever that is there, a 5-inch piece and then a 2-inch piece. Of course that great big long 30-inch one, and then another 12-inch one along there. And of course I've got to notch it to fit. And what I'm going to do is take my sander and gently round this, and a little bit of putty, and it'll be just perfectly fine. But yeah, she's coming along fairly well. I did make a miscalculation on my L trim. This stuff here. Originally what I was planning on doing was putting some type of a crown molding, we'll say like this stuff here, on that top, but it just didn't look right. And by me using 11 feet of my crown molding, or of my L trim, it's going to make me short on this stuff here. But hey, that's one thing nice about living in town instead of opposed to out of town. You're just a hop, skip, and a jump to the hardware store. So, I've got a list anyway of stuff I want to pick up. So, yeah, we'll, go down there probably tomorrow and see how she goes. Well guys, a little bit of a check-in for you here. I got that great big long piece all pretty much good to go up on the wall there. Of course needed a hand for that one, but I got her all done. I got some more of the trim pieces all up. Got this side of the room all pretty much done and good to roll. Started working on this side of the room, as you see here. I've got this piece to trim up and this piece to trim up. Of course, like all good things, sometimes you misjudge on your project. So I had to run down to the old hardware store and pick up some more of that trim there so I could finish off the rest of the project. But yeah, there's going to be another piece going across here. Another piece going up, another one going across here, another one, pretty much just repeating, right? I'm kicking around the idea of putting another piece across the bottom of that cupboard. We'll say like that, right? and then behind it putting a piece of this, kind of like a valance, just to you know, finish it off, right? That's something that's in the back of my mind. I'm not sure if it'll evolve that way or not. But yeah guys, let's get trimming and see where she takes us. Well guys, of course, putting the trim on the top here. Of course, got the top far top piece on and this bottom piece on. Just working on the top rail of this cupboard, and of course the piece connecting you know, up there, right? So what I've done is I've notched it to fit, you know, both top and bottom, and in theory it should drop, you know, right in there and then right in here, right? But where I've run into a snag is where this molding meets this molding that's originally on here. I've got to notch the molding here, as you see the line right there. Now I got nothing in my arsenal that would normally have done it except for my handy dandy Dremel MM20. Well, hey, you know, that's where having the right tool for the job comes in handy, or else you would have been removing that piece of trim and cutting her by hand with something else, right? So guys, I'll plug in that saw and zing her off, and then pretty much away she goes. Well guys, a little bit of a check-in for you here. I got the trim all done on the top and bottom of all these cabinets here. I ran me one of the fancy long moldings the whole length of this guy, and it hit me a bit of snag right here. As you see, the molding runs right here underneath the cabinet. Well, when I cut this plywood, I cut it, if you will, 1/4 of an inch short. It actually should have hung down below the height of the cabinet, so it would have made it up with this molding here. So I had me a 1/4 inch gap, and I wasn't quite sure what to do. And then I figured, well, what I'd do is I'd stick a piece of this trim here to fill that little 1/4 inch gap. And anyways, which actually fits quite well, because anyways, my plan was to put a piece of this to finish off anyway, so that'll meet up with that, which will in turn be all exactly where she needs to be. And then I can finish off the corners here with some quarter round, and then work on the top here. What I'm thinking with the top is to use some of this fancy stuff, you know, as well as to that, because then that'll tie in with the valance that I'm wanting to put here. Just some ideas, guys. Of course, like a project, it evolves, it changes. That might be the way she is, or that might not be what she ends up being, but so far that's the way she's looking like she's going to be. So you know, we'll have to see how she turns out. Well guys, I got all the trim done on this section of wall here. Got all the little pieces along the bottom done, as well as up, you know, kind of framing it out, if you will. I installed the valance here. It actually turned out fairly well, as well as a couple little pieces right there. Was gonna put some quarter round down the corners here, but I decided to go for the cleaner look, and I just used some paintable silicone. And yes, I know I painted these cupboards already back in whatever it would have been there, part 10 or 11 or something. But yeah, I can just give them another coat, and which you know, wouldn't hurt anyways, because I got to paint the trim, so I'm already there. And she'll be pretty much golden. But right now I'm just putting some paintable silicone on some of the joints, and you know, getting things all nice and pretty. One thing I did forget while I was down at the hardware store, I should have bought another tube of the paintable silicone, but hey, whatever's, you know, there's always tomorrow. If I'm up there bright and early, get my silicone early, I may be able to paint later on after she dries. But yeah guys, she's looking fairly good. Just got to do a couple more things tonight, and she'll be golden. But guys, I'm probably going to end her here, so as always, thanks for watching Maxwell's World. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.